And today it's the egg. Welcome to my Italian kitchen. You know, it's interesting how various cultures will treat a particular food product. Eggs are eaten all over the world. But in Italy, you'll never see an egg at breakfast, unless you're staying in an English hotel or something. Then they might serve you one. But the Italians will make wonderful dishes for lunch and dinner, never for breakfast, using the egg. Surely one of the Holy Spirit's most incredible inventions. She did a good job on this one. And obviously the egg is feminine. You can't call this masculine food product at all. It's feminine. Today, we're going to prepare some frittatas. Now, frittata, the name almost sounds Mexican, doesn't it? But it's not. It's Italian. And a frittata is different from a normal French omelet in that a French omelet is folded over. But a frittata is baked in the pan, is cooked in the pan, and then stuck under a hot broiler. If my broiler stays on today, leave the oven door open when you want your broiler to stay on, will you? That's an important rule. All right, what's a frittata? I'll show you what a frittata is. First of all, a little bit of olive oil. This is a 12-inch pan, and I'm using, and it's lined with some nonstick surface. I like Silverstone very much. And we'll put in, a small handful of sliced yellow or white onions. This is an asparagus frittata. And while that's cooking, let's talk about really intimate things, namely asparagus. Here's a bunch of asparagus ready to go into the pot. Interesting, isn't it, that it's bundled up just as we do it now. But you know who taught us this? His name was Apicius. And during the 1st century, he was a very famous Roman cook, if indeed he did exist. Maybe the collection of recipes was brought together by a lot of characters and just put under his name. But anyhow, Apicius is given credit for this. He's the one who taught us to cook asparagus by putting the root down on the bottom of the pan and bringing the water halfway up so that the top is tenderly, just steamed beautifully and tenderly. 2,000 years ago, we learned that method. Now, of course, we call it in. Let me show you how to clean asparagus. I hope you know this. I hope this is not new. Hold the asparagus stem thusly, and you grab onto the white end or the bottom end, and then about halfway up on the green end, and just bend it until it tells you where it wants to break. You see? Now, this part is tender. The green part is tender. And the white part, this part, the bottom part, we throw out. Let me show you that again. Very simple. Hold on to it and let it break where it's going to break. And that's ready to go. The rest, you say, what, the frug throws it out? No, 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 no. You save that and use it for soup stock. And it's just one. No, that's not a soup pot. You caught me. That's a wastebasket. I'm not making soup today. All right. Onions are about finished. You just want to saute them a bit. I have 6 eggs in a bowl. Now, normally, when I make a French omelet for it, you remember I suggest you add water, never milk. But for a frittata, because we want it to rise under a broiler, we don't add that at all. 6 eggs, handful of, 1/4 of a cup. Let's stop this handful talk. I'm sorry. 1/4 of a cup of freshly grated Parmesan or Romano or Parmesan Reggiano cheese, a bit of pepper, and a bit of salt. Don't you hate ovens and stoves that talk to you? It just said something. I don't know what it said. I really don't listen much. I have a friend who has a car that talks to me. Drives me crazy. I get in the car and the car starts beefing at me. I haven't done this, I haven't done that. Listen, what's going on? All right, now I've blanched the asparagus. I better get that in there. I blanched the asparagus. I'm using about a cup or so. You notice, please, how green this asparagus is? You know why it's so beautifully green? Because I put a little bit of olive oil in the water when I was blanching the asparagus, and olive oil will help preserve the color. Now, 6 eggs, salt and pepper, a little bit of freshly grated cheese, and this should spread out beautifully. Well, everything should spread out beautifully, Smith. Let's see if we can get it to cooperate. Don't ever use metal in your good frying pans. This is an indestructible plastic or good wood. But I like this big, fat, wide thing. Gee, it works well. All right, you see it's beginning to set up on the edges? It's almost, I'm going to change it to another burner because I have another one I want to show you. And then Craig's going to come on and cook something that I just think is bizarre. But oh boy, is it good. All right, another frying pan. Can you have too many frying pans in your life? Or not for me. Same routine. Oops, I need 6 eggs. As you can see, the egg gremlin has come by and broken the eggs for me. While the pan heats, let's talk about cracking eggs. I know we sound really basic today, but often people will crack an egg on the side of a bowl, and watch what happens. Look, you're getting shell inside the egg when you crack it on a bowl. Don't do that. Please, crack it on the counter, thusly, so that you just, now then, I can break that easily, you see? So you don't, you see, you don't get the shell inside the egg. All right, pan's hot, olive oil, there we go. Little olive oil and some onion again. This one is an herb and onion omelet, and I'm going to simply make the same sort of thing, omitting the asparagus and adding some herbs. Very simple. So let's get our eggs whipped up, 6 eggs, no water. Remember that, no milk. Little bit of cheese. Yes, you're all right. Whoops. Hey, it's ready. Look, look. You see, it's beginning to set up the omelet. You see, it's setting up just a little bit. It's not hard on the bottom. It's not brown. It's time. Put it under the broiler. You sure your broiler's on ahead of time? It's got to be good and hot so that the eggs will puff up immediately. You don't know why I'm laughing, do you? Well, try that once and turn around and you realize your stove has shut itself off because you have the door shut. And the thermostat is such that if you have the broiler on and the door is shut, then it's going to shut itself off. So leave it open, just ajar like this, and then it'll keep broiling. Hope that makes sense to you. You knew that anyhow. I hope you knew that. All right, I need some salt and pepper in my 6 eggs and a little bit of cheese. This one we're going to serve cold as an antipasto, you know, the snack before the meal. Terrific, all right. And I'm going to add to this some, let's see, let's try some, a little bit of parsley. This is strictly up to taste. A little bit of dill. And here's some fresh basil. Wow. This will be great, just great. Whip that up, and into the pan it goes. Hey, Craig, get your stuff together for your frittata, will ya? You out fishing? Huh?
I'm back.
All right, all right. Here we go. I'll be with you in just a second here.
Okay.
Now, you see, do the same process. Set this up. Let this set up a bit. I'm going to give you some room. And let's check the broiler now and see what's happening. Ta-da!
What's going on in there?
Beauty,
Wow,
beauty,
it's great.
beauty. It's a thing of beauty. I better take that out first so you can see what's going to happen. There we go. Thank you, Craig. I need some room. Eggs in Italy, not boiled, nothing like that sort of thing. I've never seen an Italian eat a hard-boiled egg. I don't think they know anything about it. I really don't. Okay. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Don't you love successes? Now,
Wow, that looks
look at that. Here we go. Excuse me, boss. Let me.
beautiful.
Whoops. I wanted it in the center of the plate. I didn't quite make it. All right. Now, how are we going to serve that? Can I have a wooden spatula, Craig? Thank you. We're going to serve it thusly. While it's hot, you're done. You can close up now. Thank you. While it's hot, we'll simply take out a wedge, you see, and put it on a plate. And this is served along with a salad, glass of wine, whatever you like.
Still very moist, too. I noticed that.
Isn't it beautiful?
Yeah.
Isn't that beautiful? But I've got another gimmick, Greg. Got another gimmick. Let's put 2 on here. This is so good. When I was a little kid, I couldn't stand asparagus. Did you like it?
I've always loved it.
I'll bet your mother
the
didn't.
Cadillac of vegetables.
Yes, but your mother didn't overcook it. My mama was a World War II cook. Bless her heart. She's gorgeous, gorgeous woman. But you know, you cook asparagus and it turns the, you know what I mean? That's just.
I'm glad I don't know.
Well, it's just foul. Let me put that out for you. Now, here's the secret for you. I need a dipper there. Will you hand me one? Thanks, friend. We made Fonduta, or cheese sauce, from this wonderful cheese from Italy called Fontina. This is a very rich, very soft, you see it, very wonderful cheese. And if you cook it with a little bit of milk and eggs and a little thickener, you come up with a sauce. Let me see if I can burn myself today properly, all right? Come up with a wonderful sauce. And there it is. Fonduta on asparagus frittatas. Are we talking gorgeous?
A little rich, a little rich.
Oh, Craig, it'll kill you. What do you mean rich? It'll absolutely kill you. Is this still on? Yes. I'm going to put this under the broiler. And, Craig, I think I'm going to shut up for a minute. You're on, bub.
Okay. Oh, let's do
Your pan's hot and you're ready.
Spaghetti frittata.
Please.
What the heck? All right, let's start with in a 12-inch frying pan. This has to be non-stick because we don't want your pasta to stick in there. A couple of cloves of garlic chopped up. And throw in maybe half cup, 3/4 cup of tomato, chopped tomato, nice and ripe, and a little oil. You don't want to overcook this. You just want it to collapse down a little bit and the flavors will come together. We're going to throw some capers in there. If they're small ones, you don't have to chop them.
I love capers.
If they're large, chop them up. And of all things, sliced black olives. The person that taught us this recipe in Milan, who was from Naples, said that this is the closest thing we're going to find to a black Sicilian olive, so that's why we're using it. Just saute that real quickly.
You remember his name, Craig?
Marino.
Marino. He is a bartender at Hotel Ambrosiano in Milan, and he's just the sweetest guy. You know, Italians are really a riot. You tell him, he said, so what are you doing in Italy? And I were writing a cookbook, and he says, first of all, you saute some garlic. And people start giving us recipes. That's where we got this one.
You can tell he knows how to cook, though.
Oh, he's beautiful. He claims Northerners don't know how to cook.
Exactly.
North and the South, remember the argument? I'm going to check this while you do that.
Half pound of spaghetti, dry spaghetti that's been cooked up al dente, to the tooth. Not too mushy, not too firm, just perfect. And throw that in there, too. This was cooked ahead of time, so it's a little bit starchy, but it'll work, I promise you. And then on top of that, we need about 3 eggs beaten up with some cheese. Good Parmigiano Reggiano cheese. This is, we're going to use about 2 tablespoons.
I get such a bang on watching Craig cook because he's had training in cooking, and I have not. I'm a self-taught cook, and Craig is trained with some good chefs. So every day I learn something from him. Okay,
your eggs and
spaghetti.
your cheese are beaten up, and just pour that in there. Stir it around a little bit with a spatula, and you want to brown this one side, and then flip it over. You have to do that very carefully because it's a hot pan, and if you have an oiled plate or a sheet pan or a platter of some sort, you can slide it out, flip it over very, very carefully. Make sure you're over a counter because it's dangerous, and we don't want to burn anybody. Then slide it back into the pan and brown the other side. And this is what you get.
I get to move it on. There you go. Show us,
Now
Craig.
let's
Show
put it
us.
on here.
Okay. Show us, friend.
Let's see it. Oh, this is great stuff. Out she comes.
Now, if you're a younger person, that's gorgeous, bub. Yeah, that's just beautiful. If
Thank
you're a
you.
younger person, just simply call this spaghetti and eggs. That's precisely what it is. The tomatoes and the delicious flavor of the olives blended with the cheese and the egg. And look at this. This one is a little cold. We cooked it a little bit ago. Why don't you cut some, Craig?
But you know what? Leftover
so
is
good.
delicious too.
Cold?
Yes.
I hadn't thought of that.
Yes, yes, yes.
Never tried
yes,
it cold.
yes.
Just cut it into a wedge.
There we go. Now you can have this with a salad and a little glass of wine, and you're going to be set. That's a great lunch right there.
Can I put my Itzhak Perlman Memorial garnish on it? There we are. Little parsley. Isn't that beautiful? I like it best hot. Well, I just took another one out of the oven. Let me show it to you on our quest for the egg today. And I don't know whether they eat more frittatas in southern Italy or in northern Italy. I really can't answer that for you. But they're very, very popular in the north. I know that. And I haven't spent enough time in the south to know. So let's look at this one. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Here's the dish that has the 3 herbs in it. cooked down. I'm going to let this cool now. As a matter of fact, I'm going to let it cool for some time because I'm serving it cold. Whoops. One other quick cooking lesson, especially if you're a young person, don't ever pick up a pan that's hot unless you know precisely where you're going to put it. I've seen people, well, I've done it too. They pick up a hot pan and then they go, ah, 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 ah. Well, it's too late. You're already burned your hands, or you're going to burn the board, or you're going to make that plastic countertop just bubble and look like Swiss cheese. You know what the problem is? Just think before you take it out of the oven or off the stove, where am I going to put it? I have a hot pad back here. That's very, very important. And don't ever, please, please, don't ever take a pan or a roasting pan or something out of the oven and set it down on this door. This door is not a rack. It is a door. It is a door. A very famous and dear friend of mine took out a big casserole full of wild game birds, set it in the door, and I watched the door fall apart, the game birds go on the floor, the casserole break, and I'd made the casserole. I mean the pot. Don't ever do that. Just don't ever do it. Know where you're going to put something before you take it out. All right, all right, all right. What was I preaching about? Oh, the herbed frittata. This is so good. Now, if it's served cold, you need oil on it. Good olive oil. Look at this. We'll just drizzle some good olive oil on this. And then this is served. There. There we are. This is served as a cold dish at the beginning of the meal. You can serve a cold one at the beginning or a hot one for a main course, along with a salad and a good glass of wine. That makes a very complete meal. I said earlier that the basic things in the Italian kitchen, wine, pasta, olive oil, bread, that sort of thing, good cheese. Meat's not really included as a basic. We're going to do some meat shows for you, of course, because we all love meats, but this is the Mediterranean diet will help you cut down on your love for meat, at least your addiction, shall I say that? Your addiction for meat. And it's much healthier for you because we eat more grains. And the cholesterol that you find in an egg is not half what you're going to find in meat. So don't worry so much about it. Eat a few more eggs. This was not brought to you by the National Dairy Council. This is brought to you by the Frugal Gourmet. There. Now, get ready for heaven, kids. Now, I'm going to show you how to do a cannelloni. I always say the wrong thing. Cannelloni is correct. Cannoli is a round pastry that they deep fry and then fill with sweet ricotta cheese. Cannelloni is a noodle dish. Now, why am I doing a noodle dish on an egg show? Well, because this is an egg crepe. And you see, I've made them ahead of time and cooked them only on one side. That is to say, this was the pan side that is now up. And the other side, I didn't even turn them, you see. So it's an egg noodle, regular egg batter, crepe batter, but you don't cook them on both sides, and you don't even let them brown. So they really become a cannoli, a cannelloni, or a pasta dish. What are we going to do with it? Well, two of my favorite cheeses. Some more of this incredibly rich Fontina from Italy. If you buy Fontina from Scandinavia, from Denmark in particular, it's going to be very delicious, but it's going to be very different than what this is. So I put a bit in to fill 1/4 of the thing. So you divide it up into quarters. You put enough cheese in to fill 1/4, and then you fold it over. I want you to see this. Fold it over thusly. Now hang on, watch me. And then you put a piece of mozzarella, sliced mozzarella on top, and fold it over again. Have you got that? So you have, let me get this out of the way for you. So you have a sandwich that's folded into quarters. The Fontina is in here, the mozzarella's on top, and then you fold it over. And you put this in a greased baking dish. By grease, of course, I always mean olive oil. There's no other grease in my kitchen. I don't believe in that sort of thing. And top it, where is it? Here it is. Top it with some good Sicilian tomato sauce. No meat in this. It's just delicious stuff, but it's made with fresh tomatoes as well as canned tomatoes. Put a little bit on the top. There you go. Does it look rich to you? Good. I'm glad you're paying attention. I'm very glad you're paying attention. And we're going to grate some good Parmigiano-Reggiano cheese on the top and pop this in the oven. About 375 for, oh, I don't know, 25 minutes or so. I have some in the oven now. Let's see how they've turned out. Why am I nervous about my ingenuity? Shame on me. Let me put this, where am I going to put it? Hold it, let me move something. Here we go. Now remember, I told you that you always know exactly where you're going to put something before you take it out of the oven, and I just blew it. I didn't know where I was going to put that. Let me find some more room here. Come on, Fontina, move over. There we are. So I have another one. Same thing. Now, cheese is great for a whole meal. There's no reason to not enjoy it just like that. But we use an egg crepe, so that's why I did it on an egg show, because Italians never eat eggs in the way that we. Fried egg is unheard of in Italy. I don't know what they do with such a thing. I have seen eggs in salad, but generally eggs are served as a frittata. And remember the difference between a frittata and an omelet is that an omelet, let me get my omelet pan here. Why don't we show you one? Well, you know what they look like. An omelet pan, this is an important difference. I want you to remember this. You cook the eggs in the pan, and then, in order to get them out and onto a plate, you slide. Let me show you this. You slide the omelet out of the pan and then fold it over on top of itself. You've seen me do that so many times I can't believe it. But not so with a completely different dish, which goes back to Roman times. A completely different dish called the frittata, in which it is cooked on the bottom, but then stuck under a broiler. Now, what kind of eggs can you use? You know, they used to use ostrich eggs and little bitty birds' eggs. They used all kinds of eggs in ancient Rome. There was a very famous emperor who used to kill off tons of birds just to get tiny little brains and little bitty eggs, and then he would eat these in the way of an omelet, frittata, literally broiled. They did have ovens. Those Romans were sharp. Well, we've done it. We've talked about the egg in Italy. Not at all like our egg, and certainly not like the way the French cook them. Today we've made a frittata of asparagus. Really very, very delicious. And then I had the gall to top something this rich with Fonduta, which is a very rich cheese sauce made of fontina cheese, a little egg, you've seen us do it, little egg and egg yolk, not white, and lovely sauce. And then we removed from the oven 2 baked cannelloni, not cannoli, cannelloni with cheese inside. It's an egg pasta, very delicious thing. And this thing that Craig put together from our friend Marino, look at the inside. Isn't that gorgeous? Wouldn't that knock your kids for a loop when you tell them you're going to have a dinner of spaghetti and eggs? Why not? And finally, the last one we have is a cold dish of an herbed omelet. Would you add a little olive oil? Once something is cold in Italy, you put oil on it. That includes everything in your life. If it gets cold, put olive oil on it, and it solves a lot of wonderful problems. If you're going to Italy, check out some of the great restaurants. It's hard to have a bad time eating in Italy unless, of course, you go to tourist places or you eat in your hotel. I can't find good restaurants in hotels. I go out to shops and I look for someone that's cooking frittatas. Then I know I'm in a good place, and I sit down and have a wonderful time. This is the Frugal Gourmet. Till I see you again, I bid you peace. Bye-bye.